Evening Network with Gerard Ratnam.
269-27939. That's our number right here at the studios of 939 Bernama Radio 24. Today we're going to be talking about 5 tips to business success. Our guest this evening is known as a serial entrepreneur, a professional speaker, an author, a TV and radio personality. His name is Ernie Chen, and he's a self-made millionaire, and he has a passion in developing businesses and helping others to make their million without falling into financial traps or financial problems. Well, you're in the studios, Ernie. A very good evening to you and welcome to the show. My first question is there a catch to this?
There's no catch to this.
Hang on. Let me put it on your mic. Okay.
There is absolutely no catch to this. It's purely for me to educate people in the masses as much as I can, free of charge. So there is no catch, nothing whatsoever.
Well, speaking of getting into businesses, what are the most common mistakes people make when starting out in a business?
I think a lot of times people just think when you open your door for business, the business will walk into your store.
Right.
That's absolutely wrong. When we open a restaurant, we need to do promotions, we do marketing, we need to get out there to just talk to people that, hey, you know what, I've got this restaurant, come and eat in my restaurant. People just think just because I put up a beautiful signage, I've got good lighting, I've got good music, I've got good beautiful waitresses, people walk in. I'm sure someday someone will walk in, but you see, for a business to sustain itself, you need to go and get the business immediately. You got to go out there and just tell people about you having a business, and tell people why they should come there all the time and keep on coming back. Give them reasons to do so.
How did you start out? Now let's go back in history and see how you start. Apparently you started off with 2 ringgit and now you have 8 multi-million ringgit companies. How did that happen?
Sure. I mean, obviously I learned from a lot of mistakes. I started approximately about 7 years ago for the second round of my entrepreneur journey. I actually started 10 years ago for my first time, and I failed. I was really cheated of a lot of money. And those were the lessons that I would call my best ever MBA entrepreneurial lesson. You cannot buy it with money. You can buy it through making mistakes, and that's what I learned. So the second time around, when I started 7 years ago, I learned to trust myself. I learned to be in control of my businesses, and I read a lot more about businesses. I watched a lot of videos about how to do business, and ultimately starting from 2 ringgit is really what I did, which is going into business, using yourself as the product. You don't need to have money to start a business. Start it off your home, you are paying your rental, use your house as your office, use yourself as the product. You don't have to invest and bring a whole entire shipload of product from China or anywhere else in the world. That is going to cost you money and inventory. Why do that? Start off yourself as a consultant. Use yourself as a product, because I'm sure you've been a consultant for many years for an organization. That's when you work for the company. If you're a radio presenter, guess what? Go and coach someone to become a real presenter. Offer your time and your effort and your services to teach someone else. And that's what you can do. Provide a service, you being the product, you being the person offering that product as a service.
Looking at you and how far you've come, were there times when you told yourself, hey, I don't think I can make it? Did you come across these stumbling blocks, or was it all smooth sailing for you?
It was never smooth sailing. I mean, being an entrepreneur, the last thing you ever think in your mind is smooth sailing. There's no such thing as smooth sailing. You just imagine yourself going out to the ocean. There are days where, the thunderstorm will come, the waves will really be right in front of your head and your face, and you really have to go charge all out. You see, I came into the whole entire environment knowing that I was going to face all these challenges, and that's what keeps me alive. People who wants to go into business and expect everything to be smooth sailing, you're not ready for business. You shouldn't do business. If you ever thought of being afraid, in fact, that's what's holding you back. If you are fearful of starting a business, it's because you're afraid that you're going to fail. If you don't fail, you're never going to get there. And believe me, you're going to fail many times. And as much as people think that I'm successful, I went through a lot of failures. And the more failures I went through, the more ways I figure out, hey, you know what? The next time I do that, I'm not going to do it that way again. And that's why you succeed.
Right. And what made you want to come out and help people? Because every time someone comes out, full force wanting to help people, I say through the newspapers, on TV, on radio, I'm talking about helping people. Everyone will say there is a catch to this. What is the catch, Ernie?
There is no catch, because I make money by training the corporate sector. I make my money from that area, and I have a team doing that. So what I'm doing is I'm actually going to the community, the society, to the consumer. I'm helping the consumer market, and I'm giving them free education, and that's what I'm doing. So there's absolutely no catch at all whatsoever. I'm just giving you knowledge, and you will then take the knowledge and do what you need to do with your business.
Right. So where do you take this knowledge to? Do you take it to colleges? Who do you speak to?
I speak to the college students because I've noticed that the government is focusing a lot on entrepreneurship. A lot of students today, they want to just come out, especially the Y generation. They want to do their own business. They don't want to work for anyone.
Right.
They want to come out and do their own business. And a lot of times, if you don't know what you are doing, you're going to get in debt before you even start business. And there's a lot of business coaches out there who's charging a lot of money. And they're getting these students believe that if you pay me, I teach you, you're going to do well. I think that's absolutely ridiculous, because before I even make money, you're already causing me to spend money. And you are actually making me lose money. So that's something that is very dangerous for a lot of young people out there in campuses who want to become a millionaire. They only want to become a millionaire without knowing the toughness and also the challenges as ahead. A lot of business owners pump in a lot of money. And when you pump in a lot of money, you got to be careful, because where is your money really going? Money is not easily made, but it can be made if you have a very structured system and you know how to go about doing it.
Right. We're currently speaking to the group CEO of ATCEN, Mr. Ernie Chen, who's now the new business guru in Malaysia, our very own business guru. Well, speaking of picking a business, if I want to get into business, okay, I work, saying for the sake of an argument, taking myself as an example, I work for a radio station, I want to get out and I want to get into business. What would I get into? How do I look for that opportunity?
Fantastic. First thing first, look for the people who are in the business that you're in. Provide yourself with your expertise, your experience, and your knowledge. Set up a radio station for someone. Be a consultant. Advise them what are the best tools. What are the kind of talents that you should be hiring to become a radio DJ, become a radio announcer, become a newscaster. Not everyone knows how to hire a newscaster. Not everyone knows what kind of criteria you should be looking for. You should know that, because you're one. And you've been one for so many years. So go to a radio station, go to a TV station, and tell them, these are the criteria and I know what you're looking for. If you find these individuals like me and I know who they are, wouldn't you want to pay me for that service so you don't have to worry about those problems? Go and provide a service that someone else is not wanting to do. Go and provide a service that someone is not able to do it as well as you can. And that's what you can sell. So if you go out tomorrow, my advice to you is very simple. Hunt down all the competitors to this radio station and tell them, hey, you know what? I can advise you to become your consultant to make your radio station have higher ratings, better advertisers coming in, more volume of sales, and I know how. Wouldn't you want to pay me as the business?
But let's take this one step further behind and say, my mother came up with the recipe, okay, of some sort of mee goreng, and it's one of the best mee gorengs I've ever tasted. I want to turn that into a multi-million-dollar business. How do I do that?
Fantastic. First thing first, let's look at the recipe, document it down, and then provide a system as to how we can mass produce this product itself. Very importantly is the secret recipe that you have. And when you have that recipe, you document it down, you IP it by trademark the product itself, and then you mass produce it. You can mass produce in many ways. Two ways I would recommend is have your own local chains of stores that you can then either franchise or own it yourself. That's one way of doing it. Second way of doing it is packaging it up, frozen, and ship it out across international borders. So that's the second way that I would definitely do for the mee goreng. Why? This is the Mamak Malaysian mee goreng that you cannot find anywhere else in the world but through your mother.